What's up, guys? This is Roy. Today I'm going to talk to you about getting lean, getting shredded, and I'm just going to tell you my story, my journey about what it did to me. Back in 2020, we were all going through the pandemic and, had a lot of time to reflect on things. And I got to this point in my life, I was smoking weed every single day. I was drinking more than I wanted to. And I saw this guy online, motivational speaker guy. I'm not going to say his name, but I saw him online. He had a lot of great transformations. So I signed up for his program. I quit drinking, quit smoking. And I was just fucking motivated to the max. And I was tracking my macros every day. I was working out, doing calisthenics at the time because, I didn't have any of this set up. I didn't go to a gym. I was just doing push-ups on the floor over here. And I had a pair of 25-pound dumbbells. And for legs, I would just do high reps, lots of sets, lunges, bodyweight squats, squat jumps, stuff like that. Anyway, that's besides the point. I got shredded pretty quickly. I lost probably, 20, 25 pounds in the first couple of months. And it was my first six pack. And this dude posted me, my coach at the time posted me on his Instagram. And that was a huge achievement of mine, It was so cool. And people were starting to ask me for advice. And I started coaching a couple people. And, it was awesome. But so this coach, his belief was you need to get down to single digit before we start bulking, and I think around this time, I was probably in the 12, 13%, but, I hit a plateau and he said, all right, we're going to cut your macros, we're going to cut your calories even further down. I was eating 2,000 calories a day when I started this program. I was eating 175 grams of protein, 225 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of fat, something like that, every day. So I hit a plateau. And I don't even really think now, in hindsight, I don't think I even really plateaued. If I would have just rid it out a little bit more, I think I would have started to see that trend go down. Again, besides the point. So we cut down to 1,500 calories a day. I was eating 200 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, and 28 grams of fat. Something just ridiculously low. And it worked. I mean, the first couple weeks wasn't really that hard. I didn't really notice that much, and I started to get shredded. I'm starting to get striations in my chest. I got veins down here, in the hip crease, the little V. I got crazy veins in my bicep and my forearm. I'm just lean. I'm ripped as fuck, and I look like a stick, because I hadn't resistance trained in high school. I was really big into lifting, and I've always been into calisthenics and stuff off and on, but I hadn't been training. I'd just been running and stuff. So, I didn't have a ton of muscle, but I was muscular enough. I was muscular enough to look good but I was a twig. And anyway, so, I kept asking my coach, hey, can we do the bulking diet now? Can we do the bulking? No, man, just go a little bit longer. Just go a little bit longer. And I'm just I'm trying to get down. I'm hungry, I want to get on this bulking diet. So I'm just pushing myself, and I'm getting up every day at 4:30, working out, working my ass off. I decide I need to start lifting more. So I buy this rack, buy some weights, change it up from the calisthenics. And, just one day, I hadn't broken my diet at all for nearly 6 months. And one day, it just all hit me, and we had some almond butter in the cabinet and some rice crackers. And I just devoured the whole thing. The stress, everything led up. I couldn't take it anymore. And I just, once that floodgate opened of me eating, I just could not stop. And I binge ate probably 12,000 calories in one night. Chocolate, ice cream, everything that I could find, I just ate it. And you know, and a lot of it was like the low calorie shit because, you know, we were dieting. And yeah, you know, and then the guilt would kick in, and I was still lean as fuck, you know, obviously. Not one binge isn't gonna do anything. And then, you know, I go a couple weeks and then boom, it happened again. Go a couple weeks and then boom, and it happened again. And I was like scared to tell my coach, you know, because this guy was kind of an intimidating dude. And, you know, this pattern started happening a lot more, and and then they started getting the spread out between the episodes started getting shorter and shorter. And I started to realize, you know, like I have body dysmorphia, you know, I'm obsessed with my physique. I'm not interested in sex anymore. You know, I'm not having fun with my life. I'm always thinking about food. I'm always feeling guilty. You know, it was dark. It got to a dark spot, and I started having like these like psychosomatic symptoms, you know, and I knew it was anxiety, and because I've had it before, and I'll make another video about that in the future, but I knew it was anxiety, and I just like got obsessed with it, you know, with these symptoms. And I think this whole time my body was trying to tell me like, dude, this ain't working out for you, you know? And so at the end of my cut, you know, when I was at my very leanest, I was 168 pounds. And I think I was near 10%, if not there, or maybe even a little bit lower. I was right there in that range, and, you know, started slowly going up, and, you know, kept trying to diet. And, you know, like I said, finally I just decided, all right, I need to, you know, I broke it off with that coach. And then I just started, you know, I just said, all right, I love lifting, so I'm gonna lift, and I'm not gonna worry about tracking my macros or any of that shit. I need to let that go for a while. I'm just gonna eat to fuel my body. And, you know, I put on a good amount of size and strength. Like, you know, now I weigh like 205, and I'm much fatter. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm probably 24%, 20 to 24, somewhere in that range. And, but I feel better, and I feel more, and I feel like this is like genetically, this is my set point, you know, and I don't necessarily believe that you can't change that, but I do feel like we kind of have an easier time maintaining or even building from a certain body fat percentage. And some people, you know, if you're like 50, 60, 70% body fat, like you need to work on getting down to like 30, 40, or 40, 30, 25, somewhere in that area, you know. If you're like for me, my goal is to get down to like 17, 15 to 17 in that range, and kind of just maintain there. You know, but getting super, super lean, like there's a few people who can do it, and I think they are more naturally lean anyway. There's a few people who can do it and maintain it and not have any problems. But like for me, man, it got dark. It got really, really dark. That was like some of my most anxious days, you know, and I just knew like my mind was fucked up. And the dark side of getting that lean is you will forever compare yourself to that, you know. Like I always, like, I do admire sometimes, you know, when the light hits right, I'm like, damn, you know, like arms are looking bigger, like this shirt used to be loose on me, you know. Now it's like it's hugging, and the shoulders look good, but you know, I got some belly fat, and like you know, there's always that side of you that's like, man, you look like shit, you know, even though you don't, like your perspective gets skewed from that. So if you're like me and you start out, you know, I was probably like, I'd say anywhere from like 28 to 30% body fat when I started that cut, you know, and I got lean as fuck. And that was the first time ever. And that was something I always wanted. But you need to be aware of the dark side of that, because there is a dark side, there is a downside. And if that's your goal, I'm not gonna discourage anyone from doing that, because it is awesome. You know, it is awesome to get there, and you know, you do feel good, you know, but you have to be very aware of the negatives and take things slow. And when you get to a point where you hit that wall, you know, back off, stop, maintain, you know, bump your calories back up a little bit. Don't be scared of putting on a little bit of water weight, you know, it'll go away. Or maybe like a pound or two of fat, you know, it's not gonna make that big of a difference on your physique. You know, if you go gain 30 pounds of fat, yeah, you know, and I've gained a considerable amount of fat, you know, like my physique is much different than it was, but overall I'm happier in my life. Still making progress in the gym. And in fact, I'm making way more progress than I was before. And, you know, I've just learned so much. So just be aware of those things and, you know, keep training, keep following your goals, but just be aware of these things. You guys have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.